Then you got another one will say, oh, like I want to move forward with things. Like I want to, I want to dedicate myself to you. You're not qualified to do that. Why? Look at your life right now. Like there's things in your life right this moment I don't condone. Yeah, but I'll change. Whoa, would that make sense if like I'm not trying to change. Here's the difference. You're saying you're going to change. I'm not trying to change. Well, I like you the way you are. Good. But I don't like you the way you are. That's crazy. And when you say like, oh, if you don't like this friend or that friend, I'll get rid of them. No, don't get rid of them for me. Get rid of them for you. If you had decency, you wouldn't have a friend like that. Straight up. Don't do it for me. Because if you do it for me, then that's not who you really are. I need you to do the right thing because you comprehend why it's the right thing. You hear me? Like, I don't need you to do it because my man said so. Because that kind of resentment, that may fester, especially in a wicked person. And I want all of you guys to know this. I put this to a young lady recently. I thought this was quite insightful. I said, you have a friend who is a weak beta male, and I've never insulted him one time. I said, no, really, have I ever insulted this guy one time? She says, no, you've never said anything bad about him. I said, exactly. That is the measure of my character. I said, has he ever said anything bad about me? She's like, yeah, absolutely, many times. I said, exactly. That is the measure of not only his character, but also your character. What? Yeah, that's the measure of your character. Number one, if you hang around a man who backbites other people, especially people they don't know, that's a person that has low character. Number two, if someone feels comfortable dragging my name through the dirt to you, that lets me know that you and I ain't that solid. You hear me? Because if somebody drug my name through the dirt to the homie Rod or the homie Crazy Rob, listen, man, as soon as they say, oh, Marquett, wait, you said Marquett, wait, who? You said Marquett is a what? That's the homie. What's happening? Yeah, you're going to have to get down for that. Absolutely. That's the homie. You talking about him, you talking about me, what it is. Yeah. We need to see about that because we're so bonded. We have a oneness. We have love to where if they insult me, they insult the homie and vice versa. I'm not going to let nobody talk reckless about the homie. Stop it. So the fact that you will let somebody talk reckless about me, that lets me know that you ain't tied in with me like that. That's number one. And then number two, here's the crazier part. Let's say I was a sucker. You hear me? Let's say I was a straight sucker, which I ain't never been in my whole entire life. Not one time, even for 5 minutes. I ain't even try to, you hear me? I ain't never. But let's say I was a sucker like you would like me to be. Just imagine you kept old boy as your friend, right? And we have a seed together, which will never happen. You are hanging out with your friend and my seed is there because that makes sense. Like sometimes we hang out with our friends, and if you have kids, you have kids. So you have your son with you and you're hanging out with your friend who's this dude who's a beta male hater. And he says something reckless about me, which is the father of this boy and your husband. You think that I would let you bring my kid around somebody who would degrade my name and image? You're crazy. I would never. And more importantly, if someone did do that, then that would escalate things greatly. She says, no, I understand. I wouldn't be friends. I wouldn't bring him around. Whoa. Nah. You're saying would. That means I have to speculate. And I'm not trying to deal with a gamble. I'm trying to deal with a sure shot. I'm not dealing with gambling here. I'm dealing with a sure shot, which is to say, if you're already around a dude that's talking greasy about me, which is insane because bro wouldn't even make eye contact with me. You hear me? Like, I'm a scary person to somebody like him. I'm terrifying to somebody like him. Like you should tell that ball to ask about me. I am a menace to somebody like him. He shouldn't have my name in his mouth at all. Just side note, like Ball lives like in a whole different country, not even in a main city in a different country. Cause I'd have maybe already pulled up on him, just not even to hurt him, just to like make eye contact with him. You dig? Just to let him know he ain't too far to get touched. But bro live in the middle of nowhere. So I said, look, that's my point, is that you're hanging around someone that would talk greasy about me, and the idea that I would have my kid around you and him and either one of you could be spreading poison about me is bonkers. And I would never let that happen under any circumstance. I would never have my child poisoned by people within my sphere of influence. Like maybe out in the world, they might say some crazy stuff, but there's no way in hell my old lady and any friend of hers is going to say anything about me to my kids or in front of my kids. And that goes for things you might say explicitly or things that you might suggest, right? Like, for example, there's certain things that I ain't down for. Like, if you're like, hey, let's take the kids to the aquarium, like, I probably ain't even gonna show up, you dig? Because it's just I'm not gonna go. I'm not going. But I will say, yeah, like, take your home girl, take her kids and my kids. Yeah, go to the aquarium. Yeah, here's some money. Like, go have a good time. Now, if you go and get your homegirl and her kids and y'all out with our kids and maybe even her husband wants to go because he's a weirdo, and y'all out there like, oh, well, where's Marquett? Oh, Marquett felt like he was too good to come. And they like off of that kind of time. Like, nah, nah, we don't have that within our circle. Ain't none of that within our circle. If you feel some kind of way, you better bury that. So just the fact that, you know, that's possible. Like, I'm out. That doesn't even compute with me. That's a ridiculous concept that a woman that is supposed to be my life partner, I would associate my, like, a woman who's responsible for my success, growth, protection, and support, and the rearing of my kids would be friends with someone who has an issue with me. And here's the weirdest thing. It's like, how can bro have an issue with someone he's never met? He doesn't know. We're like, there's nothing similar about us. The only issue he has is that I have what he wants. That's it. That's his only issue, which is not even an issue. And more than that, I'm so player. I've never said one negative thing about bro, like the whole time he's existed. You feel me? I've never said one thing. So he has like no real motivating force. So I told you, so I told her like, nah, you're a real goofball. Like, this will never happen. You did. You just about to get, maxed out and then dashed on. That's it. So it's weird how like they seem like surprised about that. I'm like, how are you surprised about that? Like, it's so strange. How are you surprised about that? I don't get it. Oh, and let me throw in some more stuff while we're talking about it, because I really want you guys to be gamed up. Can I throw in some more stuff on this similar topic? Here's another crazy thing. I had another female, right? Nice young lady. And she doesn't have any hater friends. She doesn't have any hater family. Nice young lady. Incompetent in the kitchen, but nice young lady. Was using illicit substances for a portion, for some time in her life, right? Which is unfortunate. And I was asking myself, like, let's just say, because, let's theorize with me. This is not my situation. I'm just making up a situation because I know some of you guys might be in this situation, and I want you to be able to think about it clearly. This is not my situation. I'm making up one based on a real person who had a real experience, because I said to myself, oh, what if? Now, her family, lovely, very, very smart, favorable, pleasant people, easygoing. They accept basically anything. So let's say, and there was a time she was using substances, right? And they obviously let her do it. She only kicked the substances by her own volition, right? Let's say I was dealing with that chick and maybe one of her family members had a problem with me, right? Would it make sense that they had a problem with me, but they didn't have enough of a problem with her doing fill in the blank drugs or doing alcohol or being addicted to gambling or being addicted to, shopping beyond her means, like whatever really bad, destructive behavior she could have? I want you guys to ask yourself, anytime a female and her friends or family might have an issue with you, ask her, hey, when you were smoking weed every day, or when you were on cocaine, or when you were a gambler, or when you were a promiscuous female having sex indiscriminately, or when you were spending beyond your means getting into credit card debt, did your friends and family have a problem with that? And that will give you the short and sweet on if they're good people or not good people. If they're actually trying to protect her, or if they're trying to protect their position with her. We have people who are mentally ill. Her mom might want to be her boyfriend as much as you do. Her dad and brother are trying to protect her, like to keep her for themselves. Like, we have people who are that messed up in the head. They're trying to protect their position with her, not actually protect her. That's the deep part. They're not trying to protect her. They're trying to protect their position with her. And that's why you look at those like bad behaviors and you say, well, did they stop you from that? They want to stop you from dealing with bosses. Did they stop you from being on dope? Did they stop you from doing all these bad things? And if the answer is no, then you know everything you need to know. You know everything you need to know about her family. And this is not to say she needs to give up her family, but I promise you, the moment that people ascend higher in terms of their thinking level and their values, there's certain things that are just no longer good enough for you. There's certain people that are no longer good enough for you. And you will naturally float away from those people and those situations. Promise you. So what I'm telling you is that if a woman has family members or friends that are dirtbags, you shouldn't have to explain that to her. You hear me? Because in as much as she continues associating with those persons are a representation of who she still is. Yeah, they're a representation of who she still is. Like, there's a lot of cats I grew up with. And of course, in many cases, death or prison has separated us. But there are other ones that I can't mess with because our realities are so remarkably far apart. And even things that I did in my true past, I couldn't even imagine doing again. Not that I'm scared. I just couldn't imagine doing it again. Like I was telling an employee recently, back in the day, I don't know if any of you guys are from LA, but there's a spot called MacArthur Park. And, you could go down there and get a lot of illegal things that you might need in, whatever criminal endeavor you're in. And one time I was down there with a couple of the homies. We needed some government identification to make a couple moves. And so we were down there and we, took the photos, and we basically needed to wait for them to process these pieces of identification. And we were walking down the street, just like in like this grimy ass area. And there was a guy who I presume was like a store owner, like a liquor store owner, maybe one of the kids of the liquor store. And we're walking by, and bro had like a wallet that was like filled with hella money. I just slapped the wallet out of his hand, and I'm not going to finish the story, but it's just like that kind of just utter griminess to where like, bro's like, oh, money, I'll take it. Like, oh, you have money? It's my money. I'll take it. Like that kind of like just monstrous, mean, like dominating behavior and thinking. Like I would never do something like that today. When I was a young ball, like, yeah, it get like that. But like today that wouldn't even cross my mind, which is to say that a lot of the people bro said MacArthur Park is a trading day, bro. Exactly, man. I was really bending them corners as a young ball, like in a real way, man. You catch me at 14, like in Hollywood, just like really outside. But anyways, there are people that I grew up with who are still like that. Like there's a cat named, some like dude that you see on these podcasts now, named 4Extra. And shout out to the young brother. I hope that he's able to continue evolving and keep a positive mentality. I doubt it, frankly. But it's like I see him and I listen to him talking. It just reminds me of the homies. And it's like kind of sad because he's like the same age I am right now. But he's like talking like the homies used to talk when we was like young balls. And it's sad because like there's some people that they do not escape that. Like they're in the same thing. Shout out to Chief Keef, because Chief Keef used to be on that Chicago cultural BS, and he'd be in his interviews mumbling like, yeah, man, for 100, 100, yeah, bang, bang, just mumbling like a dweeb, like he's slow. And then eventually he let go of that fake, silly, pretend behavior and started speaking clearly, got out of the haze of drug usage and released from that like senseless behavior of trying to, and I can identify with it. I just didn't stay in it as long as he did. So I say all that to say, when you elevate, which is to say, when you bring the best out of you, you don't have to become someone new. There's goodness already in you. You will naturally not want to deal with certain people. You won't want to be in certain places. And it doesn't matter if they're your family or your friends. It's over. It's a wrap. I mean, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not getting into it.